Accounting, architecture, engineering, science, technology, those types of roles are often found in the industry that the Bureau of Labor Statistics calls professional and business services. So what does the 2021 outlook look like for various cities and types of businesses within that industry? Hello, Jay Denton with LaborIQ by ThinkWhy. The news of pending vaccines getting ready to be released and wide availability of them through the first half of next year is certainly promising news, and it gives us even more confidence in our 2021 outlook that predicted that especially by about mid-year and beyond, we would see a more substantial pickup in economic activity. And for those of you who are hiring and placing talent, that means you're going to be very busy from that point on, and likely will be before then, but that's when you'll really start to see things pick up. Now, until then, we certainly have some virus counts that have escalated, and we need to make sure that we keep our people and our economy healthy. But again, 2021 looks like it's going to be a very promising year once it's all said and done. Now, let's rewind and talk a little bit more about professional and business services. So it's one of, when we take the industries out there, it's one that we see really starting to ramp up, hire a little bit faster, and be one of the earlier industries to fully rebound all the jobs, particularly in certain cities. So far, if we look at the types of businesses that have held in pretty well, and we'll likely see some pretty good growth next year, we're talking about, really companies that specialize in the things that I mentioned in the outset. Firms that do accounting services, or they're helping with architecture and engineering, certainly in technology with all the work from home and everything that we've seen there and just how systems have had to be reconfigured. Those types of companies have done well, and I think when we look out to next year, we're still going to see solid growth for them, probably in many cases above average from what we're used to, but you're not going to see the off-the-charts hiring simply because they've held in pretty well so far. I think when we look at the ones that we expect more robust growth and a lot of jobs being added back, they're going to be the types of businesses that the pandemic has hit the hardest. We've talked plenty about, say, leisure and hospitality, where you take hotels and restaurants and what we're expecting there. Well, within professional and business services, really it's the placement of people. I mean, that's where we've seen a lot of the impact. So employment services, temporary help services, as the market recovers, it should almost be a self-fulfilling prophecy that more demand is going to be needed from those types of companies. So those in recruiting, talent acquisition, I mean, directly we're talking to you. The challenges next year could be way different than this year, where we're looking at, you've got all of this business, what do you do with it all? Let's hope it gets there. And as we look to the second half of next year, when a lot of hiring is going to be needed, companies are going to need help. I think on the other part, those related to travel and helping with travel agencies, it's going to take a little bit longer probably for them to turn around. There have been articles published recently and outlooks that travel might not ever return to where it was. We'll see about that. But it will probably take a little bit longer for that to recover, simply because you're going to be really relying on business revenues getting back out into the market. But again, we should see more substantial activity in all of those types of sectors that have been really lagging so far through the pandemic. Look for strong rebounds for many types of businesses, especially once we hit the midway point of next year. The vaccine starts to really take hold in terms of its effectiveness, and 2021, by the time it's all said and done, we're probably looking at very solid growth for all professional and business services. So if we want to know which metros to look at, so locations across the country, look, if you just take New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, L.A., Atlanta, just bundle those 5 together. Those 5, just for that one industry next year, we're looking at creating more than 160,000 new jobs. There's a lot of extra hiring as people start to move from one company to another. Some people will fill those roles, their roles will be backfilled, so you could be looking at 6 times that number in terms of hiring for the industry. But just those 5 markets, just that one industry, probably more than 160,000 jobs created. To stay up to date, whether it's that location or this industry that we're talking about at Professional Business Services, stay up to date with us. You know where to find us. Visit our YouTube channel, LinkedIn, or thinkwhy.com/LaborIQ.